Yo, what is up? It's that time, it's that hour, it's Righteous with another video. All right, so I want to quickly get into all the other fights aside from Tank versus Frank Martin. First thing I want to say to you guys is happy Father's Day if you're a father, or if you have a father that's always been there for you. If you're celebrating it, if you have a grandfather that was there for you, any father figures in your life that was there for you, I just want to say happy Father's Day to you and your family. Much love, much respect. Now, I'm going to try and break down a few fights before I get into Frank Martin versus Tank. I want to give a big shout out to Carlos Adames, who won his fight. It wasn't so convincingly, but he has a new style from what I can understand, and I watched his sparring to lead up to this fight. Not all of them, obviously, but I went one day to check him out, and I could tell that he was trying a new style. If you ask me, I think the style that he had before was a little more reckless, kind of like Subriel Matias a little bit, but the reason why I would say it was a little more chaotic was because he was just trying to look for the knockout. And now I guess Salas, Team Salas, and his coach and whatnot is trying to have him fight more like a champion and being more aware of who they're fighting and whatnot. I don't know why he didn't want him to switch hands, but I guess Salas has seen enough from Caballo Bronco to, tell him to not do that versus certain fighters. I understand that, and I think he did really well, but I think he could have done better. And he doesn't have to knock everyone out. It's just he was a little patient with this guy, and shout out to one guy. I'm not remembering his name. I know his name started with a G. He wasn't a bad fighter. He just didn't win convincingly. He lost, but I think he won at least 5 or 6 rounds. It was pretty close. You could have called it a draw if you wanted to, but obviously Carlos did land more shots. So I think the right person won. All right, now going into the David Benavidez versus Kvasnik, or however you pronounce it. I was thinking that it was going to be a more explosive fight, but David just admitted that he had a torn ligament in his right hand. So that makes sense. So he was being a little bit more careful with his shots. I could tell he didn't have that much power in his shots, but I'm not remembering how to pronounce his name. Kvasnik, Dick, or whatever, however you pronounce it. That dude seems like he fights a lot of heavyweights. He seems like a tough dude, Olympian and all that. So he was just eating a lot of shots. He's not a bad fighter, but it just seemed like he wasn't trying to counter David Benavidez as much as David Benavidez was trying to counter him. In my opinion, David was just faster, more elusive, and he showed some new styles that could possibly make him a better candidate versus Canelo if he were to fight him in the future. David is still trying to get that fight, even though he's at 75. He said after the fight he still wants to fight Canelo. I think he deserves that fight, and at the end of the day, that's just where he is campaigning at right now. Is just he wants the Canelo fight. David, I think his name is David Morel, I think it's Morel, the Cuban fighter. He's really good as well. He, I think, moved up with David Benavidez to 75. So, there's going to be some work at 75. It's just, it's going to be tough on David. But if he keeps doing his elusive style and things like that, he'll last a while there for a while. If Canelo doesn't want to fight him, he's 27, 28 years old. So, it'll work out for David. I have faith in David. And to be honest, Canelo, if he doesn't fight him sooner, then I think the window closes for Canelo even beating him because, I think Canelo still has a chance versus David. And I think David's output and his volume and his power is what keeps him a super duper threat, to Canelo. But I still think that fight is an even fight. But I don't like how Canelo's behaving. He should just take that fight. Stop asking for crazy amount of money. Just take the fight. Try to make as much as you can off the fight, but just take the fight, man. Just take the fight. Now, going into Subriel Matias versus Paro. Now, I broke down this fight for you guys in one of my last videos. And I thought that Paro didn't have enough pop to keep Matias off of him. I was wrong. Everything else, though, I called it. I said the dude has talent. He's skilled. And he had 24 wins. And you know what? He trained correctly for this fight. Now, Matias, I will say, he didn't do too bad, but for a guy that's fighting in front of a home crowd, he didn't do that great either, He took too many punches, and I do agree that the referee was trash. So, okay, maybe there was a head clash. Maybe there was some things going on with the head movement of Paro. I did see a little bit of cheating there with that. It's like tiny bit, though. Like, it's nitpicking bullshit if you ask me, when it comes to wanting to take a point off and all that. But it wasn't like Paro was fighting clean either, because Subriel Matias doesn't bring that to the table. It's going to be a dirty fight. It's going to be back and forth. So I didn't like that ref. Like, he just was annoying to me. He was in the way. And you know what? If you're going to break up hugging and stuff like that, then just do it correctly, And then there's certain things that I've seen from refs in the past that I'm just like, that's how you do it, You tell them fight through it, or you tell them box. You feel me? Like, you don't tell them to stop every single time that they're getting close to like locking up and punching on the inside. Because there were times that they weren't even punching on the inside. They were just holding each other just because they were getting tired. But yo, a real ref is going to tell them box or fight through it or separate them correctly and then warn. But he was like giving them small separations from the breakup and stuff like that. It was just crazy, and ultimately that was a bad ref. I don't care if you're in Oakland or on the moon. You don't put a guy like that just because they're in a hometown situation and you think because he speaks Spanish. Or I don't know. I don't even know what the fuck. I don't know why that ref was there. He was just not a good ref. I don't know. I'm here just saying things out loud because I'm clueless on why they thought that was a good ref, because Matias is constantly trying to create fights on the inside, and that was his issue, and that's the reason why he lost his title. It sucks because Paro is a talent, man, and I hope he gets the credit he deserves, because I've seen some people hating online, but, Matias is good too. It's just Paro was the better fighter. There probably will be a rematch, and I like the fact that Paro was saying that he's willing to come back to Puerto Rico, so let's see what happens with that. Now, going into the Tank and Frank fight, I never gave you guys a breakdown because I didn't really like the matchup at all. I don't think Frank is that talented. To be honest, I don't think he's that good. Now, he beat my guy Rivera, who was a Dominican as well. And he showed a lot of skill there. But the talent is like still kind of like iffy for me. When it comes to elite is what I'm saying. It's still kind of iffy for me. So the matchup to me was never there for me. I never saw any inkling of him beating Tank at all. I know it's in hindsight because there was no breakdown. I never gave you guys a breakdown or anything, but I just never saw it, man. I never saw it. Never could see it. Frank, okay, he's left-handed, has some good movement. They were saying, oh, he was winning the fight, whatever. True, but psychologically, those last 2 rounds, he looked like he was having a nightmare in front of everybody. It's like, Did you forget to throw combos? Did you forget to fight for the middle of the ring? Did you forget about what you're supposed to do, like what your plan is? Because I'm pretty sure that they trained you well on that plan. Now, I'm not going to say I'm a boxer myself, but, you know, hanging on the ropes like that, how he was hanging on the ropes, that's not a way that you want to go out. You feel me? That's a horrible way to go out. You know, the ref was far away from those guys when all that was going down, so he let them fight. So, you know, Tank proved what he was supposed to prove, but to me, it's all the way time. It's beyond time for Tank to fight someone serious. Like, I don't care about the Shakur fight, to be honest, because I don't want to see running. I don't want to see it. I want to see boxing, and I want to see a good fight. I like a Ryan rematch. There was, you know, Ryan was there, you know, trying to create a rematch and whatnot. It was good. They had a little back and forth. That was cool. I like a Lomachenko fight, possibly. You know, I don't know if the speed is there anymore for Loma, but I still would want to see it, just for the record. And if you could do it this year, pretty please, with cherry on top, that would I would highly appreciate that. You feel me? But who else? You know what I'm saying? You know, Tio, that's never gonna. I think Tio would rock Tank, to be honest. And at one point, I thought Tank could not be touched by any of these guys. You know, and I thought Devin was another guy that could possibly beat Tank. But it shows that he doesn't have the power. You know, he just doesn't have the power. So, you know, the Devin thing, I don't know, whatever with that. Shakur, I don't say I'm not saying it's a 50-50 fight, but it would be closer than Devin, in my opinion. You know, it's just Tank is a good fighter, and he hits hard, man. He can box. So I prefer Teofimo, to be honest, at 40. That's what I would want to see, my own eyes. Being that the landscape has changed with Matias, Regis, all these people, I would prefer Tank versus Teofimo. But if we can't get that, definitely would prefer Ryan. I don't even know if it would happen at 40, but if he can fight anybody that has a decent resume, that can fight and can box, then make it happen. Because I don't see the whole fighting thing from Shakur. That's what I'm saying. He doesn't have that brawler instinct in him. He just likes to box. Cool. All good. But Loma can do that too. You know, he's still speedy. He's not speedy enough to possibly get the W, but I would like to see him get the shot. You know, he's an all-time great. I want to see it. You know what I'm saying? But knowing Tank, who knows what that man's gonna do. But anyway, let me know what you guys think. Did you have Frank up? Like, I couldn't even score that fight because I'm like, yo, this is ridiculous, bro. Like, this is crazy that they even signed this fight. Like, the dude has no amateur career, from what I understand. It's just like a joke, man. But whatever. He's of the Derek stable and blah, blah, blah. That thing looks so, like, I don't know. That was, like, cheap, bro. That was cheap. It's crazy that people paid for it. I'm not saying you shouldn't pay for it, but I disagree. I actually thought the Matias versus Paro fight was 100 times not 5 or 10 times better, not 20 times better, but 100 times better than the Frank Martin fight versus Tank. It was just insane. They got so much coverage, you know what I'm saying? But obviously you have David Benavidez on the undercard. Gary Russell, I heard he lost. I wasn't really watching that fight closely. Carlos Adames. I'm forgetting the Filipino guy's name. I follow him on IG. He's exciting. I saw that he won. The British dude that does the drunken style, I heard he won the fight too in the UK. So shout out to him. But if you guys have anything else you want to add to what happened today, please feel free. Like I said, happy Father's Day. You already know it's your guy, Rex Righteous. Let's try to keep boxing alive. Peace out.